So, Gabe's halfway through her day. The rest of us are at the end of our day. Some of you are beyond the end of your day. So just settle in wherever you're at. If you have your feet flat on the floor, you can have them hips width apart so the legs aren't crossed. And just imagine your shoulders are aligned with your hips, your ears aligned with your shoulders. And just lengthen your spine. Imagine it's a string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. You can imagine there's a person or something above the crown, just very gently lengthening that little piece of string, putting some space in between each one of those vertebrae. And if you wish, you can lengthen your neck just enough that the chin tips forward, but not the whole head pulling you forward. Just sort of drop the chin, lengthen the neck a little bit. And if your eyes were open, they'd be looking at a spot a couple of inches ahead of you on the floor. So now just breathe. Hands can be comfortably just resting in your lap. And then just go back to the crown of the head. And just, if you can feel any sensation there, just notice what it is you're feeling. And then just relax the scalp and the forehead. Just release any tension in the eyes, release any tension around the nose and the cheeks, the face, and the back of the jaw, back of the tongue, back of the scalp, back of the head, where the occipital bone is. Then relax the back of the neck and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades just to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Take a nice deep breath. And just feel. You might feel some buzzing, some tingling in the body, or you might not feel anything. That's okay. So now just be aware of any sounds in your environment, just allowing them to be there as much as you can. Try not to follow with the mind. And then notice the thoughts that are arising. So, we've, in our mindfulness meditation course, we talked about categorizing our thoughts, a little bit, like we could say, oh, first of all, you start by saying, oh, I'm thinking. But then we can also get a little bit more detailed maybe and think, oh, this is rumination or this is planning. And if you need a concrete image, you can, just, there's I don't know if you have it over where you all are, there's a store here called the Container Store. And so you can buy virtually anything to set up set up and organize your home. I don't think they sell a little bit of furniture, but they're mainly about containers. So you can get yourself a nice little container. We also have IKEA. So, they have lots of organizing strategies in IKEA, like collapsible cloth, segregated, boxes. You can have baskets. You can have woven baskets. You can have little plastic baskets, boxes, and then you put little labels on them. So you can organize your thoughts pretty much the same way we organize our stuff. And that way it's a little bit easier to identify what's going on and then putting some space in between. So our job becomes trying to identify objectively what's going on in the mind rather than getting all involved with the story. Because very often the story is like either incorrect or not functional, doesn't really serve you. And then what you can do is you can put those little categorized thoughts on a nice white fluffy cloud and just allow it to float away. So now bring to mind all these people of our life, our loved ones, the ones we don't like so much and are strangers. And remember they're all completely, due to our karma, due to impermanence, they can change place at any time. And then think they're all equal. One strategy they suggest if you're having any nervousness talking in front of a group of people is just to imagine that they're all there without their clothes on. So that would imply that they would be vulnerable. But also, it's a great equalizer. You know, we're born without any clothes on and we pretty much die without really clothes on. So that the clothes that we wear are a little bit like the emperor's clothes, the emperor's new clothes, that children's tale. Basically, when it comes down to it, we're all just skin and bone of various shapes and sizes. Some got floppy bits, some got wrinkly bits, some, you know, for a very short period of time where we're young, we look all great. But then as we get older, things start to drop and wrinkle and flop around. We're all equal in this way. And we're all desperately wanting to be happy, and we're all desperately wanting to be free from suffering. So I think we can do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we start the meditation by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with the four opponent powers. So regret is the first one. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We're experiencing everything due to our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And then we regret our delusions, our anger, bitterness, and grudges, and attachment, and all the rest. And this is the cause of why we harm others. And just think, I'm sick of suffering. And then what can I do about it though? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, not as some kind of like higher power, who has these methods that we can use to heal ourselves. So you imagine this Buddha Vajrasattva on the crown of your head, a little bit above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you, and made of this beautiful light, white light. You can also imagine your teacher. This is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. Are you sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion? Has a beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and just have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to create suffering for them in the future. And so here we come, the power of the remedy. And this is the medicine, doing practice of purification. So we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and just pours into your entire body and keeps filling you completely. And it just keeps coming and coming until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Hanarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and just fills your entire being. So just imagine as the light hits your heart chakra from Vajrasattva's heart. So it's a bit like when you walk into a dark room and flick on the switch. It instantly dispels the darkness. So it instantly dispels all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and grudges and jealousies and all this kind of weird stuff we have going on in our mind that we think is totally valid, but generally is not really serving us very well. Imagine it all dispelled with this light. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida me boa, Situkaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorekta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriam Kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa, Mahasamaya sata ah hompe, Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasafa dina patita, Dida me boa, Situkaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorekta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hompe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorekta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hompe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorekta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hompe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorekta me boa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ah hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ah hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorekta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ah hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorekta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorekta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorekta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ah hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorekta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ah hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorekta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream, and even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And a really crucial one is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And so without this determination, without making this decision, we keep doing the same old things over and over again. And this aspiration almost becomes like guardrails for us. We just aspire to refrain from harming. So think about something, well, first of all, rejoice in your own efforts and think about something you would like to keep working on. And maybe if you aren't journaling this practice, maybe think about doing that just so you can keep a track of, how far you've come. And don't forget how your body is changing as well as your mind, because these Sanskrit mantras are very, very powerful, and they impact our mind stream. They impact our body. They're kind of magical in that way. So just, use that medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, 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 and to be able to continue to teach, for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and for all of our own personal gurus and our personal teachers. And so, Lou, all the very best for packing and moving, and we're all thinking about you, and I hope it is not a stressful move for you.